Welcome back everyone. Today we'll be beginning with the session 3 of the week 5. So as far as week 1 and 2 were concerned, I hope you really had a great time learning about what we discussed as far as the various facets of strategic sales management are concerned. So now moving forward, we'll be talking about the remaining part of preparation for a sales role, or in other ways we can say the skills that are required to be a very effective and efficient salesman, and then we'll wind up this concerning the personal selling skills. If you remember, in the last lecture we had discussed the 9 skills out of 18 as far as the Gartner's fantastic article is concerned. Now we are getting to the 10th skill, which is about becoming great copywriters. So what the scholars, practitioners are trying to say is, as far as the sales profession is concerned, it's not that you are only going to have face to face conversations. Many times you will also be communicating with the prospect or the buyers or the clients through mails. So it becomes critically important that you write them creative mails, and through the content of the mails you are able to move them from the stages of attention, interest, desire, action and satisfaction. But one thing which becomes important in this case is you need to conduct tests as far as the research department is concerned to figure out which mail headlines and content is going to work best. Let's understand this with an example. Let's say if I am promoting electric vehicles, I write a mail to you, and in one of the mails the subject is the benefits of electric vehicles, and in another mail the subject is if you want to save 50,000 every year on fuel, then open this mail. Now you can think which one is going to work the best. Now, apart from being great copywriters, you also need to be smart at talking, which means you should be able to sell effectively as far as telephonic conversations are concerned. Now, this also becomes important because many times the prospects or clients may not give you the time directly to meet physically. It is always going to be the call that will play the magic trick. So you should be able to hold their attention on call and adapt by judging the prospect or buyer's tone. And the call should not be monotonous. You should learn the skill set to adapt to what the prospect or the client is saying, and then adjust as far as what you are going to speak next on call is concerned. And definitely, if we consider the COVID scenario, many organizations have now adopted either virtual calling platforms or they are using telephones in order to first discuss what the marketer or the seller has to offer. Now, the 12th skill, which again becomes very important, is about being socially active with target buyers. Now, if you remember, we have discussed about the concept of social selling. Social selling simply indicates that a lot of corporates and organizations are now trying to reach out to the prospects or customers through social media platforms. For example, let's say like LinkedIn, Facebook or Instagram. Now this again is going to be a part of the grind or maybe an enjoyable experience as well for the salesman. They need to be socially active or interact on regular basis with the target buyers who are available on various social media platforms. One effective way of doing this could be that your interactions could be about sharing more content or creative content with them, which will help them understand what your product is all about, or even in general how they can do better in their businesses. Let's say this can also be about sharing some insights about the industry in which they are functioning, which again can be used by them to perform better. But one thing which you can do in this regard is don't think about only the people who have bought from you or could buy from you. You can start working on building that relationship on social media platforms by sharing information in general or trying to help even when the particular prospect is not still in your sales funnel. Now another skill which you need to learn about is personalizing interactions. Now this can be started by using names in the mails. Rather than writing as dear sir, you can mention the names of the people. Let's say dear Mr. Anup or something like that. Another thing is, gone are the days when one size used to fit all. You need to not only customize the conversations or communications that you are going to have with your prospects or clients, you might even be required to design specific customized products and offerings for your prospects. And this again is going to be very important with respect to key accounts. And we all remember these are the accounts which bring in a major chunk of business and are very important as far as the survival or growth of an organization is concerned. Now the 14th skill which you need to master is about using a variety of marketing skills. Right. So today's salesperson are expected to market their organizations as well. Whenever you are meeting the prospect or the customer or the client, the conversation should not be just about what is so special in the product or offering. The salesperson must try hard in building a positive aura about the organization that he or she is representing, because this can also provide a lot of avenues bringing in a positive word of mouth. That's why it is high time that they acquire. That's why we say that this is high time that the salesperson should acquire skills that go beyond simply selling. Like, as you can notice in the slides, just imagine if a salesperson is also acting as a marketing intelligence agent, then what kind of critical information they can provide to the research team or the sales organization as a whole, which can eventually bring in very great results as far as the sales performance of the organization is concerned. Now, this intelligence information can be related to adapting to new products, or could also be related to the new products which competitor has launched, which could be better than yours. Then the organization cannot just sit idly. They need to work on improving their product so that they don't end up losing the market. Now, as we move further, the 15th skill which you are required to master or acquire is about helping prospects achieve their next steps, which again indicates that you have to assist the buyer throughout the customer journey. It's not like once the sale has been closed, you just vanish. You not only need to support them in after sales processes, but you also need to provide them required and relevant information at various stages of the sales cycle so that it becomes a very smooth experience for them, or we can say that the overall customer experience or journey becomes delightful for them. If you remember, we spoke about helping the prospect or the customer in developing a framework as far as decisions regarding the purchases are made. Now, this again can also be connected to that. Another important skill that you need to acquire is about learning to utilize the sales technology to best of your abilities for boosting the productivity. Now, this can also be looked at from various facets. One is you're using the sales technology to generate leads when we talk about the social selling perspective, or you're using it for maintaining or recording key insights about the prospects or customers. Now, the another skill which you would be required to work on is related to using sales technology for improving your performance and for boosting productivity as a whole. Now, that sales technology could be used in a variety of facets. One way could be you are using the sales technology for recording key insights about the prospects or customers, and we all know how much importance that information holds today for improving your offerings or for connecting in the best ways possible to the prospects or customers. Now, when we talk about utilizing the day's time in best possible ways, you also need to understand that we need to link the daily activities to quota. Now, what we are trying to indicate in this particular skill set is that sales targets are not going to just happen magically at the end of the month. You should take each step every day to reach where you want to see yourself at the end of the month or quarter. Now, this can work in different ways. Let's say you need to work on the pipeline. It's not like that you just have 2 or 3 prospects or existing customers in your pipeline. You need to work on that on daily basis so that in the end you have sufficient prospects to work on. So, this is one thing which can be related to this. Apart from that, you can also work on nurturing relationships on daily basis or making it a part of your day's plan. Because let's say if in the end your targets don't work out, or the customers that you had thought or the prospects that you had thought will buy from you did not end up buying actually, so that you can thrive on those relationships which you have nurtured and you can go back to them. You should also make a habit of doing cold calling or reaching out to prospects on social media platforms on daily basis, because this again is going to generate a very healthy pipeline for you. Because the whole point is about understanding you need to take small steps every day to reach out where you want to be as far as your sales targets are concerned. Now, as far as the 18th skill is concerned, this is all about managing your pipeline like a portfolio. See, if you look at a portfolio, it is definitely going to have different stocks, in which some will bring higher returns in short duration and some will bring in a long duration, and some might not bring any kind of return. So, this should also be applied to your sales pipeline, which means you need to have a mix of prospects which could be at different stages. You should have some which have immediate needs and could be closed faster. Apart from that, you should also have some who are basically in needs analysis stage, and you need to bring them a lot more closure. Because one thing which you need to remember is you need to invest time in various opportunities, because some will close and some will not. In the end, you should not be in a situation that you placed all your eggs in one basket and now there is nothing at your hands. That's why we say that you should manage your pipeline like a portfolio. So this was all about the key 18 skills which have been proposed by Gartner. Now what I want you to understand is I want you to figure out how you can improve these skills or how you can work on these skills, and we'll be happy to read about them in forum. Now as we'll move forward in the next modules, we'll be talking about the personal selling skills. But before that, I have a little surprise for you. I want you to watch this terrific video by Brian Tracy in which he's talking about 5 ways to sell anything, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this.
Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and today I want to teach you my How to Sell Anything to Anyone course this year and beyond. One of the most valuable skills that a person can have is the ability to sell anything to anyone, to be persuasive in life. It's been identified by Harvard University as the most powerful personality, skill, or quality of all. Being a great business person or salesperson opens up many doors of opportunity, especially for entrepreneurs and business owners. Here are a few great tips for selling to anyone. First, understand your customer's needs. No matter what you are selling, the most important part of salesmanship is understanding the needs of your customer and figuring out how to meet them. In almost every case, a salesperson who focuses on how a product is able to meet their customer's needs and wants will be much more successful than a salesperson who focuses on the features and specifications of the product itself. Perhaps your customer has pain points that your product is able to alleviate, or perhaps they have desires that it is able to fulfill. Once you determine the needs of your target customer and how your product is able to meet them, centering your sales presentation around meeting those needs is the best way by far to close a sale. Second, sell yourself. It's important to keep in mind that before a person is going to be willing to hand over their hard-earned money to you, they've got to like you, the salesperson, just as much as they like the product that you are selling. When you're making a sales presentation, take a little time to get to know your customer and let them get to know you. Tell them a quick story, make them laugh, and overall, simply let your personality shine through. If you can make your customer see yourself as a person and perhaps even a friend, rather than just someone who's trying to sell something to them, they'll be far more inclined to buy something from you and far more open to your influence. Third, research who you're selling to. Before you are able to meet the needs of your customer and craft your sales presentation to target them as effectively as possible, you first need to know as much as you can about the person you are selling to. Sometimes this entails researching a specific client if you are making a major sales presentation to a high-profile figure within a company who you are able to research beforehand. Other times, when you are selling directly to consumers, researching who you are selling to means figuring out the target customer for your product and then analyzing their needs and desires. Either way, knowing as much as possible about who you are selling to before you ever begin your sales presentation is essential if you want that sales presentation to be as effective as possible. Fourth, ask questions. Making a sale centers around having a conversation with the person that you are selling to, and one of the most important parts of that conversation is the questions that you ask. Asking your customer questions and actually listening to their answers is valuable in a couple of different ways. For one, it allows you to figure out more about the person you are selling to, their needs and desires, and what they are looking for in a product or service. Just as importantly, though, asking questions is an effective sales technique because people today enjoy talking about themselves. This goes back to making the person you are selling to like you. When you show genuine interest in them and Give them the opportunity to talk about their favorite topic themselves. They'll be much more likely to enjoy the conversation and therefore much more likely to buy something from you in the end. Finally, don't just sell, help. People you are selling to need to see you as someone who is helping them solve a problem through the product or service that you are offering. Keep in mind that one of the main things that leads people to buy a new product is that they are struggling with an issue that they hope that product will address. It's your job, therefore, to make sure that you are as helpful as possible. When you are genuinely trying to be helpful when it comes to addressing your customers' needs, your sales presentation will be far more successful. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. In sales and business, the future belongs to the askers, the people who ask for what they want over and over again. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is, how do you plan to double or triple your sales this year? Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action and take action now.
Thank you.